everybody. I'm Eliza Broadbent. This is Travis Bruce, and welcome to the Paranormal Xperience, where we ask horror writers to tell us their true stories of the uncanny and the unknown. We're here today with David Sims. David lives in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia with his family, both furry and weird. After escaping both Virginia and Massachusetts, he is a psychologist and special ed teacher, a college English instructor, a counselor, a music therapist, a ghost tour guide, and a book reviewer. He moonlights in the Slush Pile Band. He is the author of Dark Muse, Fear the Reaper, and Pierce the Veil, among other things. I am lucky enough to call him a friend and a con table buddy. Welcome to the show, David.
Well, thank you, and thank you to both of you for having me on here. Yes, you make me sound much better than I really am, so thank you for that. Jack of all trades, master of jack squat. So, yeah.
You make yourself sound good because this is from your Amazon bio. So,
that's just because I'm trying to sell books, so I don't care. That's not legit stuff. No.
No, this is not true. You do all the things. You're selling yourself short. And he's an awesome ghost tour guide. I have been on his ghost tour in Stanton, Virginia. So if you have a chance, stop by Stanton. Dave is an awesome ghost tour host, and he is going to tell us some of his scary stories today. So, as usual, I want to make it clear, neither me nor Travis knows anything that he is about to say. We have not heard any of these stories. He could be telling us about aliens. He could be telling us about ghosts. He could be telling us about dead pets. We don't know. We get a lot of dead pets here for some reason.
No, this is not a dead pet show.
This is not a dead pet show, but we hear a lot about them. So, Dave, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to take this dead raccoon right here and bring him up.
I deserve that shit.
Oh, yeah. Wow, with that type of lead-in, how can I top that? Oh, wow. So, yeah, I've had a really busy life with interesting experiences because, again, growing up in New Jersey, that's a weird friggin' place. So everything is a little bit off there. So let's see. My first weird experience was, of all places, in New Orleans. I was dating another horror author, so I highly recommend doing that at least once in your life. But so we were down there, and we actually went down there with a criminal forensic psychologist who's actually pretty well known, Catherine Ramsland, probably one of the most famous profilers in America. And I just tagged along because I was a stupid guy. I had no idea what was going on. And she got us access to a hotel that was actually closed down because it had multiple murders in it. So she got us FBI clearance. We went in there, and she went off to do her thing. And my person, Deb, she said, hey, let's go explore. I said, cool. So we got our flashlights, and it was lit up by generators. So we went up to the 6th floor, and there's a little half floor between. And she's like, why did you stop on the stairs? Like, I don't know. And then we kept on going. We broke into a couple of rooms, or pushed them open, because in New Jersey, we just call them opening doors. And then we came back down. She's like, I want to go back up to the top floor again. And we went up, and I stopped on this. She's like, you stopped on the exact same stair at the exact same time. I was like, well, yeah. So she's like, this time I heard the kids crying. And I said, I didn't tell her what happened. So we both heard kids crying right at the middle of that floor. And we found out that was used as an overflow hotel back when we had our first pandemic. So it was a children's hospital. So here I am, really excited, really here. It's like, wow, I had my first paranormal experience within 5 minutes. This is awesome. I got to pee. So I run into the bathroom, and I was happy as can be. There's nothing frightening me. I'm going in there. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I felt like somebody threw 100-pound like weighted blanket over me, and it just kind of, my good mood just dissipated it. And it wasn't anything bad. It just I went from light to dark in a heartbeat. And I just went bolting out of there, pulling my pants up. And she looks at me. She's like, something happened? I was like, yeah. And I pulled my pants up. And she's like, what the hell? And I tried to explain to her. She's like, yep. She's like, I think it's time to go. So that was my first ever experience that I shared with somebody. It was pretty intense. And after that, I figured, let's keep on going.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. And she claimed herself to be a medium. I don't know if that was true or not, but she does. She now hires herself out for it. But going into your first paranormal experience with both a horror author who's a medium and somebody who actually, the person we went into, she actually helped catch the BTK killer. So, yeah, if you watch any of those videos, she's probably on it. So, yeah, I'm a nobody, but I know lots of amazingly cool people. So.
That's wild.
Yeah. So what is it like to even be in? I mean, I know what it was like for me to have my first paranormal experience. It was absolutely terrifying. But I mean, you said that you were kind of excited. At any point, was it any kind of fear at all?
Well, I think when that whatever cloud or blanket was like tossed over me, I think it wasn't so much of a frightening thing, but it was such a shock, right? Because I went from utter happiness and giddiness to like total darkness in a second or two, and I think it shocked the hell out of me. So I think it was scary, but once I came out and I shared it with my friend Deb, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's normal." And so once she said it was normal, I was like, "Okay, fine," but I still need a drink. Let's go. Yeah. So I've been lucky enough to not have any scary paranormal experiences. Most of mine have been pretty benign or kind of pleasant. We've had things that happened by my tours, things that happened where I've never seen a ghost, but I've seen objects before, and thankfully I've had a number of experiences where people actually shared the same experience with me, so I knew I wasn't completely crazy or on something. So. But yeah, so you've had a terrifying experience?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say terrifying. I would say more like after a while I realized what it was. Like, what the fuck was that? It was like, holy shit!
Wow.
And by the way, Eliza knows my story, and one of these days I'm going to tell my story.
Okay.
On there, but yeah, it's actually I'll tell you off there. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
When my first real oh my god, this is actually paranormal. I had one when I was younger that I didn't realize was paranormal until later, but my first real experience was when I was about 12, and it scared the hell out of me. Like, it freaking terrified me because I was very aware, like, this is paranormal, this is not normal. I was warned this was something that happened. In the place where I was, like, you might hear footsteps in this hayloft. By the way, this barn was used as part of the Underground Railroad, so, we get weird stuff around here all the time, so just be warned. And then I was down in this barn by myself. I heard footsteps in the hayloft. I kind of freaked out. Went up to the hayloft. There was no one there. Went up to the house, and I'm like, hey, was anybody in the hayloft? Did anybody go up to the barn? And of course, there's no one in the barn. And those were really heavy, clear man's footsteps above me, and it scared the ever living hell out of me. Like, oh my god, that was a ghost. Ghost surreal. Ghost surreal. Ghost surreal. Ghost surreal. Ghost surreal. Like, I lost my mind. Like, utterly lost it. That rocked my world.
Oh, pretty cool. Yeah. Well, the one thing I want to say that's kind of interesting, that kind of takes it from the ghostly and paranormal to the real at the same time. I don't know if I told you this, but there's a place in Charlottesville, part of the University of Virginia. They actually study this stuff, Division of Perceptual Studies. You can look it up online. It's friggin' nuts. They study past lives. They study near-death experiences. They study hauntings. They study this. They study everything. And it looks like friggin' Ghostbusters in there. And I got to watch all the videos with my students, and then finally this summer somebody messaged me and said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, I don't know. She's like, you're coming with us to this place. We went outside there. It was literally like going inside the Ghostbusters lab, minus all the stupid comedy there. But it was, and they were showing us how they actually track near-death experiences and past lives and all this haunting stuff around the globe. They had artifacts from every inch of the planet, and they're not looking for publicity. They're just there to talk about it. They're a bunch of nerds just sitting back and studying the stuff. They said, here, we don't want to talk about it, we just want to study the stuff, and people leave us alone. It was utterly fascinating to see that this stuff is being proven to a good extent. So that maybe, but that, I don't know whether that put me more at ease or unsettled me more. So it's like, okay, it's definitely not your imagination. Some of this crap is real, and it's happening all around us. And there are people who are studying this stuff trying to say, yeah, you're 100% right. So that was good.
Okay, what did you learn there? I have been trying to get this out of you for months.
Well,
what did you learn?
If you shut up long enough, I would tell you. So.
I'm shutting up.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, so all right. So anyway, so the main guy who studied near-death experiences, they had filing cabinets about 20 feet long, because they opened this in the 50s, I believe. And then they're pulling things out. They're pulling way back from the newspaper and showing me a lot of these past live things for from little kids. We're talking 4, 5, 6-year-old kids. They can't lie about this stuff. And I'm seeing these artifacts from all over that are supposedly positively, negatively charged, and they're just sitting there. And then I asked, I said, I just finished a book on near-death experiences, a novel about this stuff. And then they said, what do you think about that? And I said, oh, he's like, come down and sit down next to me. So we just kind of branched off, and we heard about this. He said, yeah, that's pretty much common. And he said, let me tell you what happens with this stuff. And I was like, holy crap. And he's saying, yeah, well, this is normal. Just think of your body like a static charge. And when you stop, your electricity just goes on to whatever. It can be stuck against a wall. It can be going to somebody else. It can be going wherever it goes. It's just there. It's just you can't get rid of it. And I was like, okay. And so that was utterly cool. And then we went into, they had a sensory deprivation room. Basically, you go inside, you could hear your heartbeat really loud. You can hear your ears pumping. And they had the little electrodes you could put on your head, a la Dan Aykroyd in Ghostbusters. I did not do that. But then they were showing us the Uri Geller spoon bending thing. And they had all these spoons that were tied in knots and everything else. I was like, so this is real? They said, yeah, anyway, let's keep on going. So it was amazing, the things I saw in there. What struck me is how normal everybody in there took this. Even the secretary, she's like, yeah, she's like, weird stuff happens here. And I said, how long have you been here? She's like, 2 weeks, but I'm used to it. And it was like, how do you get used to this stuff? But they said, we just do. It's really fascinating. Highly recommend it. Yeah.
Now, you wrote a book on near-death experiences.
Yes.
Have you had a personal near-death experience?
Yes. Nothing extreme, but back when I was 10, because I was fascinated by this stuff, and I really want to find out. Ever since it happened, it's lingered in the back of my mind when I was 10. Because back at that time, parents said, here, go do whatever you want. And I think I was dropped off at my grandmother's friend's house just so they can go do whatever they did, probably go off drinking. And my brother and I, who was 6, we went into the little back area there, and it was all marshy. We didn't think anything of it. We were stupid kids. And all of a sudden we're walking out there, and I say, oh, there's a puddle. And I went thump, and I went under. We're talking I went right through the ice. And I know I went all the way down, head underwater, everything else. And I don't remember much about that, anything. I just remember things felt really weird, and I've been trying to remember it ever since, and it's been one of those things that just nags at the edge of your mind that something really cool, but something really weird happened. And again, it wasn't a negative thing. It was just there. And then the next thing I remembered is popping my head up, and my brother standing in front of me. He's like, what are you doing in there? I was like, help me out. And he's 6, so he can't. But somehow I got out of that pond. I still can't remember how I crawled out of it through the ice and everything else. But to this day, it's lingered, and I've always had weird dreams about things afterwards, and just utterly fascinating. And then so when I discovered this lab, I said, okay, I really want to investigate it right to these people and find out what's going on. And they said, yeah, this is completely and utterly normal. And so they told me, it's cold water can make the effect even stronger. So I figured, okay, well, let me write about a guy who dies in a frozen river for 19 hours and he comes back. I was like, okay, cool. And that's just one of the weird things that happened. But again, I've had some blank spots in my memory over the years from different traumatic things. But that thing, I really want to go back and remember every single detail there. But I just remember something odd happening. But again, I wish I could do more about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and again, the moral of the story is when you're picking out somebody to watch your kids, make sure they're not going to sit on their butt and watch like their soap operas.
Yes.
They're actually going to watch the kids. So, yes.
I agree, because I mean, there's so many kids who have died from drowning in ice water. So I mean, to come that close and you're here, God knows how many years later, talking to us about paranormal shit.
Yeah, I know. If I didn't, I would never be able to get on the show. That would suck.
Yeah. That would suck.
Yeah, no, but it's wild how many people just consider this like common knowledge, and it's just crazy. But yeah, there have been people, and I checked. They had experiments where they would terminally ill patients, and they said, "Here, can we track you when you died?" I was like, "Well, what the hell? I'm dying anyway." So they would check, and their electrical charge kept on going, not like for an hour or two, but for several hours later. And they have no brain activity or something else, so something definitely continued. And they tracked it around, and they had like dozens and dozens and dozens of these replications of the study, and it happened the same way in all of them. So and I said, "What did this prove?" They said, "Well, we're not sure, but one thing we can prove is something does exist afterwards. It could be a haunting, it could be just a static charge, or it could be the afterlife. We have no idea, but we think it's pretty cool." I said, "Yeah, it is."
I would give a pinky toe to get into that lab.
I can do that. So.
Yeah. You can have my pinky toe. I'll give up the toe.
I don't want any of your toes.
You can have a toe.
No.
I don't need them.
I'll tell you what. I'll take the toe and sell it on eBay. I could probably retire.
Yeah, right. Do you remember when people could sell their toes on eBay? People would sell their soul on eBay.
That's what I need to do.
Anybody else remember this?
Yes, I do.
The early days of eBay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to start I'm going to start the bidding at like $11,000 and see how high it goes.
Oh no, right?
But I'm like so fascinated by death, and by the way, I'm not a serial killer or anything. I'm a fascinated.
He's a mortician.
I'm a mortician, but I mean that's close enough. But like I'm so fascinated by death because like I want there to be something else. I don't want it to be just black, and not to exist anymore. And maybe that's a selfish thing, but
it is. But we all selfish. Yeah. Nobody wants to die.
No, but I mean, it's not the fact of dying. It's just like the unknown, what comes after death. If somebody said, "Well, when you die, this is what's going to happen," I would feel more comfortable with dying to know that for full fact. But I've met a lot of people who have died, near death or died and was brought back. And they all say the same thing. And I've seen many videos and, documentaries that they say that your life, like you get this reel of your whole entire life speeding by like so fast.
Yeah. No, I've heard things like that too. And again, as my putting my psych degrees to work here for a little bit, there are a lot of rational theories about that, about chemicals being released at the same time, but there are a lot of other things we can't do too, and science can explain some things, but it can't explain all that. But my take on this, because I also taught English for a long time, and I loved teaching mythology. So if there's nothing, why does just about every religion out there from the dawn of man, from like 5,000 years ago, believe in some type of like afterlife, whether positive, negative, or neutral? And we're talking over like 3,000 religions. They all think of this stuff, and not all of them are crazy and controlling, trying to get your money out of it. But some of these things are real, and they have cave paintings from like ages ago, and they're all depicting something from above, or something below, or something afterwards. So where the hell did they get this idea from? Like, the internet wasn't there. Like, they're not watching some crazy ass Fox News shit. Where did they get this from? I mean, so like somebody had to plant the seed somewhere, and it's not like the Geico caveman died and he's like, "Oh wow, I'm gonna look to the sky." It's like, no, you don't. The body's down there. Where did you get this idea? So, I mean, there's got to be something to it. And even even if I was a very strong skeptic about it, which I'm not, but there's what's the origin of all this, and why did it blow up into all around the whole entire world? So,
yeah. Eliza, what do you think?
I think there's too much out there. I've read, there's a really great book out there. I can't remember the title of it. I'd have to pull it up. That talks about the evidence for something else out there, not just afterlife, but some kind of, they spell magic with a K, which I love when they spell it with a K. That's an extra dose of something right there when they spell it with a K. But it's really just psi stuff is what they're talking about, but they use the term magic. And their argument is that the fact that science has not acknowledged that psi phenomenon exists is an inherent bias in rational science, because the evidence for psi phenomenon is at this point so strong that, for everything from remote viewing to, people doing the card flip stuff where you hold up the card and you're like, what shape and color is on this card? And people are able to tell you what it is without seeing it. They're able to do that far more than what they should be able to do randomly. The evidence for this, when taken in aggregate, is so great that the possibility of this not being an actual phenomenon is it's not possible. It's real. And science not acknowledging this is an inherent bias in rational science at this point.
Yeah. Now, I know this is going to sound really irrational because you went, but the military, I mean, how much money they spend on this stuff yearly?
They spend so much money on this stuff.
Yeah, because I remember my senior year of college, we had one class in my college everybody tried to get into for years. It was called Witches, Shamans, and Magic. It was obviously the hottest course, I mean, in the campus. And when I got in there, the woman who taught the class, she was a sociologist, anthropologist, and archaeologist. She did everything. And she said, because she did that, she made a lot of friends in different agencies and things like that. And she was showing us some of the released footage of the Army from like the 50s and 60s doing just that, the remote viewing, doing the card tricks, all these things that we think are nuts. But she was showing us actually military training footage. And like, this is, before people can fake the videos. And I was like, we're like, holy crap, this is real. She's like, yep. And then she taught us how to do, not the remote viewing, the card tricks. She's like, by the end of this class, if you guys work with me, 80% of you are going to be able to do this. We was like, bull. And sure enough, by the end of the course, we were able to do that card trick. And she said, it's nothing crazy. It's just learning how to use like your gut feeling, like just in a different way. And she's like, you trust your gut? We said, yeah. And she's like, well, this is real too. And we're like, okay. And we just believe it all semester long that this is just normal. And that's how I've always left it. But again, it was common that we were able to do the card thing. And she's showing us these, the other military videos, like this is awesome. And so I figured the military is not going to spend that much billions of dollars on this stuff if they didn't have a shred of evidence about it. So,
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, the evidence is out there, and then just to shun it, to deny it, it's just forced ignorance, and we see a lot of that. So, right.
No, I mean, the gateway tapes are out there now. You can find so much stuff on the internet at this point, like the ability to do like the gateway tapes protocol is out there, which is, crazy psi work. That's some kind of like mind opening. I haven't gotten into it, but it's some kind of mind opening, like, you go into some kind of access to higher intuition stuff. There's so many systems out there to be able to access this stuff at this point that it's like, just get on the damn internet. There's just so much out there. There's so much information there. It's kind of at this point, like, I don't know how you can't believe it. It's quantum mechanics kind of explains all of it, I think, at this point. Like,
but now, David, last interview that Eliza had off camera, we were talking about the use of drugs. Narcotics can help elevate, paranormal, or even seeing aliens and all this stuff that you normally wouldn't see. Do you think that narcotics can help?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think I know it can because it's been documented through history. All the Native Americans, why are they sitting there smoking peyote in their caves to have that spirit journey? Other ones you have some Chinese monks who are doing it. Some other places all around the globe, they've been smoking and inhaling and ingesting all crazy things. And I don't think it's a supernatural thing, but our brain is constricted by certain, synapses and neurons going back and forth, firing everything. And what do? We're always looking for different vitamins and everything else to enhance that, which you can. You can have some electrical charges, which can actually enhance things as well. So why not something like a substance that can actually just maybe not I guess trigger, but trigger in a physiological way that just lets you see something. And I don't think it's that weird because again, if we believe in a sixth sense, we believe in our gut feeling, and what helps with that, just being more attuned to your environment. So what helps with the sixth sense and things like that is maybe just to shut off our conscious mind and just kind of go with it. Because I mean, I can ask Eliza right now, like to recite something from her book, and her brain's just shattered by like just being on Facebook today. But again, what happens if we can actually put the blinders on and erase your surroundings and just and then what happens? I mean, you get the same things, same experiences, same reports from people going to those water deprivation tanks, and there's no drugs there, but it's a similar thing about just erasing everything else around you. So that's my thought about that. It just kind of like allows you to see things that you normally wouldn't see because maybe life's so full of crap. I don't know. That's just my thought on it.
Now, next question to that. You're a musician.
Yes.
So what do you think about sound being able to do that?
Oh my God. Yes. Sound, because again, I was just doing it this week. So added to the list of things that I do really poorly. I am a music therapist on the side, and that was what I did my master's thesis back when. And what we discovered is for a couple thousand years, they were showing how music can actually tune your body. Your body can actually is vibrating in certain pitches. So the music, if it can actually align your body or irritate you or put you back on track, and we know it has effects on the brain. So whatever type of music that can be. So why not trigger something? I'll tell you this much. When I'm sitting here just jamming out my guitar, it's like a religious experience. I can lose myself. An hour or two can just pass on by. And I was reading an article about Jimi Hendrix back then, and he was alluding to the same thing, saying, you know what? It's not so much I take drugs because I want to. He's like, when I'm playing and when I'm on stage, I'm feeling something and I go somewhere else. So I'm just trying to recreate that feeling. And I could definitely understand that because we're talking, I just cease to exist when I'm here, when I'm playing. And I've had that on stage as well. It's utterly, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't think you could describe it. But just all the vibrations in music, I mean, you hit one note and your ears actually hearing like a dozen or so. So if all those vibrations can just kind of have an effect on your body, then why not? If the psych phenomenon, everything else of that is just vibrations at higher pitches and everything else of different frequencies that you can see things. So auditory stimulation, hearing is your strongest sense. So why not? So, I mean, it all makes sense.
Very cool.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, so I got a question for the both of you. Do you guys think at any point, because I'm pretty sure the government knows that paranormal and a lot of stuff exists. Do you think they would ever be like tell the rest of the country, hey, this does exist. This is the information. This is the research that we've done over time.
I mean, I don't want to step on your toes. I
no,
think
you go.
I think so for two reasons. One, as we see all of our news now, not disinformation, but distraction. So it's like, hey, like we find out a meteor is going to come and kill us in a few years, but let's not talk about that. Like, you know what? We know you're upset about things. Here's some aliens. Like, you know what? Here, people can actually like time travel, or people can move things through their minds. And that's much easier to digest. And again, if you're going to do something awful or something momentous you don't want people to know about, you feed them something else. I mean, look at all the UFO things that came out of the Pentagon and things in the last year or two.
Yeah.
Why did they suddenly decide, hey, this stuff is real? I mean, trying to prep us for the next thing, or are they just doing this to just utterly mess with us? So I definitely think that they would, but it's not for any good reasons. It's just like, what the hell? It's going to come out anyway. So there, again, that's the opinion I keep on changing, but that's where I'm at now.
I don't think psi phenomenon in general will come out unless, like you said, they need to distract us from something really huge, like meteor level, or nuclear war level. I think in that case, then yes, they'll be like, hey, people can move things with their minds. We can time travel. Did you know we can time travel? Let's show you the time travel. Don't get me started on the alien disclosures, because I believe we were headed towards catastrophic disclosure. I think it was averted, but I saw the drones. My son and I actually did see the drones. We don't need to go into the drones. I can talk about the drones for a very long time. I have drone issues and drone obsessions. We don't need to get into we don't need to touch my drone stuff. You don't want to hear about this. Okay. I will shut up.
Okay, I'll leave the liquor at home for AuthorCon. I'll just bring a drone. We're set.
Just bring the drones. Don't get me started on the drones in AuthorCon. Okay. I'll look like a crackpot. Like, oh God, Eliza is talking about the fucking aliens again.
Yeah. As a side thing, it's just funny. Like, there's not many shows that we actually watch together here, but we started watching Resident Alien just last week, and besides being one of the most vulgar shows I've ever seen, in a good way, it's hysterical that they just tackle all these little things in just a irreverent way, but they don't really discount it either. It's so yeah, because my son has an alien fetish right now too, so he's going through the whole thing. He's reading Communion by Whitley Strieber, so he's yeah. So yeah.
So does your child sleep at night?
Yeah, he loves this stuff. Oh wait, can I read tell me when I can redirect to another ghost thing, because it's not about me, it's about him.
No, tell us.
Okay. Yeah, all right. This is something. Well, I actually I told you the story on the ghost tour, but this is real. My house is not too old. It was built in ¡75, but we got it cheap for two reasons. Well, one, because a 94-year-old guy died in it, but that's old. He can die. But then we were coming down here, and we got it for a nice foreclosure sale. And then we were digging up the floor in here. We didn't find bodies. That would be Eliza's thing. But she would put them there. But we found a grave marker, and I never saw this because I'm from up north, and we don't do weird shit like that. But it said Timothy White Cotton Jr., 1980, 1983. And I was like, oh shit! If a 3-year-old died in my house, I'm going to be pissed. So yeah. So we never found out exactly if he died in the house or not. But he lived here, and my son's born, and when he's 2, we're looking in the room. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, the boy. And we're like, oh, shit. And where did that come from? And over the next few years, I would hear laughing in his bedroom. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, we're playing. I was like, what's his Wii stuff? And then he kept on, you ask a 2 or 3-year-old, you're not going to get information. But then he kept on saying, Tome. I was like, what the hell does Tome mean? And then we were coming out. One day we're watching one of the stupid kid shows, and it was like Timmy the sheep, and he's like, looks at the screen, it's like Tome. So, and what was the kid's name? Timothy, who died in the house. So he actually had the name right. And then, but again, every time I heard laughing in his room, it was only him. And he said that the boy never moved. The boy never talked. He just stood there. And then one day he came out. He was about 5.5 years old, and he said, he's a dad. He's like, where's the boy? And I said, I don't know. You're the freak who saw him all the time. Where'd he go? And he's like, maybe he went to go swim in the ocean or something. And And now, but that was when he was 5.5. Now he just turned 12. And he said, sometimes asks, he's like, did I really see a ghost? I say, what do you think? He's like, I think I did. And I said, you're scared? He's like, He's like, no, it was a really nice experience. So that was really cool because, you know, the whole thing about animals and kids seeing things more. I would have killed to see a boy in my room like he did. But holy crap, you know, and that's wild. But again, he stopped seeing it after he turned 5.5. So I don't know why he stopped seeing it. It's just gone. So, yeah.
Yeah, that still freaks me out.
Yeah.
That's still like the freakiest story.
It is. Hey, it freaks me out too, but I'm just excited about it because, hey, it was a positive thing. It's not like poltergeist turning on TVs and sucking people in. It's somebody who's just there. So, you know, if it's a good experience, I'm fine with it. So,
love it. So, David, I have a question. Where can everyone find you and your work?
Okay. Well, my website, davidsimsmuse.com, or just find me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I'm on Threads, Blue Sky, whatever, and just under David Sims. And there's only one idiot that looks like me, thankfully. So, yeah. And my work, I mean, just go to your typical places, Amazon or little cons where I'm sitting next to some wonderful woman here because she seems to have been stalking me at the last 2 cons, and now we're doing 2 more cons together. So yeah, but you can find my stuff there. I had Pierce the Veil that came out back in July. This is the thing I was talking about with the near-death
That's
experience.
very good.
And has cults in there too. I like cults, but
I love cults too.
Yeah, yeah, cults are fine. But one thing I really want to tout, because I think a lot of things we talk about, the paranormal and psi phenomena and everything else, one stat that comes up a lot is people who actually have like a disorder or something else. Like, you know, I knew tons of people with ADHD to anxiety, like me and like other people. Whatever you have can also leave you more open to experiences. So, which it can cause things. And just a couple months ago, Cemetery Dance put out this book, and I only have one thing in it. So You're Not Alone in the Dark. What it is a whole bunch of writers. There's a lot of famous people and me who are in this, and they just talked about their experiences with mental things going on, some trouble, some other experiences. So they said, here, spill it on the page and let other people read it. So that came out, and even though I have one little short piece in it, oh my God, I think that's so crucial to people really do take care of themselves that way. So
yeah, hold that one up again.
Yeah, hold it.
Yeah. And what's the title?
You're not alone. Yeah, I know. You're not alone in the dark. Published by Cemetery Dance magazine. I mean, you look through the table of contents, and it's like holy crap! I'm in a book with these people. But yeah, it's phenomenal. Everybody just saying, you know what? This is normal. This is fine. Everything's cool. Everything like this. And I put a copy on my desk in school. It disappeared in about a half hour because I told everybody what it was.
Wow.
So I brought another book in. So, and that's been getting read. So I think, yeah, it's really important to talk about that. And you know, I'm more proud about that thing than I am any novel I've written. So,
wow.
Yeah, and I'm making nothing of that one, so I don't get a dime for selling that thing. But it's all for charity. But
so that's always great.
He's not going to plug it, so I'm going to plug it. His novel Fear the Reaper is phenomenal. Hold that one up. I know you have it.
Oh, I don't have it down here.
You don't have it down there? I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me either.
I'm putting it's up on the screen now.
Okay. Fear the Reaper is a novel about the Western State, right?
Yes.
Western State Asylum in Stanton, Virginia, which was run by the guy who inspired Hitler. So it's a really important part of Southern history. It's a really important part of American history. And to my knowledge, no other novel has been written about it. So that's
really sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. And it's a really important book. So like in a general sense for people to have a read for, like, you know, for people to read. It's late. I'm old.
You know, they have a room for you at that place, that asylum.
They do. They do at this point. They
Hey,
do.
I want to buy a timeshare there. Yeah. But that thing was really cool too. I just want to say as a last piece about paranormal stuff, because again, that asylum still stands. It's a hotel and some other things now, but you can walk through the grounds of that to the cemetery where you see like thousands of unmarked graves and things like that. And of course I like it because I'm walking through my story, but that place, we've heard tons and tons and tons of ghost stories from that place. So it's worth it just to walk around there. So, and then you can go buy a condo or sleep there. So, yeah. So, yes.
But, by the way, David, how can we book a ghost tour with you also?
You just get your butt down to Stanton and I'll take you out.
Okay.
No, because I work for the Ghost of Stanton Ghost Tours. I've done this is going to be my 12th or 13th year, I forget. So yeah, just come down. We go for about a mile walk around historic downtown. I tell you about 10% of the crazy stories that happen. You get me and my sarcastic self, and then for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then probably drinks before afterwards. You're good. But
sweet.
It's a fun thing. I love doing it. As Liza came on tour, can attest to that. I have a ball. Again, yeah, I have a pretty rough week, but I tell you, doing that thing, I just love talking to people and hearing their stories, and then hearing their events and everything else. That's just so cool. So yeah, please come down. It's not, from Baltimore, it's about 3 hours, but it's the awesome town. So if you come down, I will definitely just gladly take you out.
I'm gonna hit you up now. How far is that from like Norfolk and Richmond and all that?
Richmond. I go to Richmond often now. Richmond is about an hour and 20 minutes away. So that's not bad. So Norfolk, depending on traffic, and about 2.5 to 240.
Okay.
Yeah. Then again, I drive like a Jersey person, but yeah. So, but again, honestly, yeah, I can get to DC Airport in about 2 hours. So if that gives you any indication where it is.
Do you drive like a Jersey person?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yes, yes. I don't know what that button that means, like you slow down things. I don't like that. So.
Clearly.
Yes.
But David, it's been a blast having you on, man.
Oh,
I look forward to seeing you at AuthorCon as well.
Oh, please do stop by, and tell you what, we do a couple author dinners together, so come on out with us. So we usually get a table of like 20 or so. You're going to be there.
All right, well, I'll be there Saturday, so.
Okay, yeah. Well, come out with us, and I just want to say thank you so much, because again, it's an exhausting day, but I tell you, this is so much fun. So I would want to give you 100% thanks there.
Oh, thanks for coming on. We love having you.
Most definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, have yourself a good night, and
Liza, I'm gonna have you sign us out.
All right. This was the Paranormal Experience. I'm Eliza Broadbent. This is Travis Bruce. David, thanks for coming, and we will see you next week.
Take care.